Shalom. This is for our people, 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel, still called Negro, West Indians, Haitians, Dominican, Guatemalans, Panamanians, Belizeans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, North American Indians, Senegalese, Argentinians, and Brazilians, so-called Mexicans, those whose fathers of our Negro or Indian descent. Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand. Learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth. Give ear, ye that rule the peoples, and glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest. Who shall try your works, and search out your countenance? Because being ministers of his kingdom, ye have not judged aright, nor nor walked after the counsel of the Most High. Unto you, therefore, O kings, do I speak, that you may learn wisdom and not fall away. Wherefore, set your affections upon my word. Desire them, and ye shall be instructed. Wisdom is glorious, and never fadeth away. Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such as seek her. She prevented them that desire her, first making herself known unto them. Whoso seeketh her early shall have no great travail, for he shall find her sitting at his door. Think therefore upon her as perfection of wisdom. And whoso watcheth for her shall quickly be without care. For she goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her, showeth herself favorably unto them in the ways, and leave them in their thought. For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love, and the love is the keeping of her law, and the giving heed unto her laws is assurance of incorruption, and incorruption maketh us near unto the Most High. Therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. If your delight be then in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom, that ye may reign forevermore. For as it is hurtful to drink wine and water, to mingle with water is pleasant, delighteth the taste. Even so, speech finely framed, delighteth the ears of them that read the story. And here shall be an ears. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom. Peace, peace, peace. Welcome. Welcome. That's right. I'm coming to crash some Super Bowl parties. Uh I'm not expecting too many people on today. I'm sure many's gonna catch it on the rebound or people out scrambling around if they are ready to entertain the modern day gladiator sport going on. Uh all good. But didn't get a chance to do a DSTM on the Shabbat. So it's makeup time. Makeup time. I'm gonna run through some things with y'all real quick. Shalom to the House of Byron, man. Y'all always been supportive, man. I appreciate y'all for sure. Hopefully y'all are doing well. And anybody else is gonna be joining us, come on in. The water's just fine. All right, wipe your feet when you come on in. And yeah, for sure. For sure. Let's prioritize a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's prioritize a little bit. But that's not an indictment. I don't know what anybody's doing. Nobody usually expects a DSTM on a Sunday. So it's kind of impromptu. I'm just popping in, making up for lost time. You dig what I'm saying? Some people might be handling their business today. Some people got to work today. But I'm sure there's a little contingency of people out there ready to throw on a who is it? Kansas City jersey? No, yeah, Kansas City or Frisco jersey, especially out here in Cali, man. These Jakes, if it ain't the Raiders, the Niners, and then probably the Rams is in the back. But there's plenty of 49er fans running around right now, I'm sure, getting ready to act a damn fool. But on our side, we got a little bit other things to deal with. All right. So all praise, honor, glory to the Most High, while our side. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm not gonna belabor the point too much longer. I think I gave the YouTube algorithm enough time to get things rolling. But if you haven't already, wipe them feet, come on in, and we're gonna get started, man. Let me. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I had to restart my computer, so I gotta find this PowerPoint. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, let's get to it then. So catching up, like I said, catching up on lost time. So we know that right after last week, when America bombed Iraq and Syria, there were some retaliatory strikes that happened um, shortly after that. However, that was I think on a Friday last week. Saturday, um, the U.S. followed up with some more strikes. This time in Yemen. I remember we were doing the um, uh, Elder Rashad was doing the measure the time lesson, and I just happened to catch the news that they were bombing Yemen as he was doing his lesson, or they had just completed a bombing like an hour before his lesson went off. So when we're looking at the scriptures and it's saying the measure the time, I mean, obviously, brother was in the spirit, um, really dealing with the times that we're living in, because war is jumping off as he spoke. Retaliatory strikes there in Yemen. The U.S. and the U.K. launched new wave of strikes, this time targeting the Houthis in Yemen. So they hit Syria, they hit Iraq, now they hit Yemen, right? Notice it says here the strikes in Yemen follow Friday's attack on Iran's backed militant facilities in Iraq and Syria. So, yeah, I'm about a week late in reporting this. I'm sure y'all are already on it, but I want to make sure that I'm accounting for what I know to spread the word. So an additional attack has been happening since then. Let's move on. A drone attack on a U.S. base in Syria killed 6 allied Kurdish fighters as Iran-backed militias respond to American strikes and Islamic resistance, and Iraq claims responsibility. So, after those strikes that America hit, they're saying that Islamic resistance. Now, I don't know if this is ISIS related, because remember the last time that they did that suicide bombing, I think it was in Turkey, or if it wasn't Turkey, I forgot where it was, but they said ISIS claimed responsibility for it. And I always made the question, how in the hell or why in the hell would ISIS be getting America's back and doing their dirty work for them? Well, go back to that DSTM. I don't remember what number it was, but I covered the whole aspect of America funding and establishing ISIS. They're there, hyenas and coyotes of the desert, that they go out there and let them do their dirty work. Meanwhile, they use the press to say that's our enemy. They're the ones that knock down the towers. They're the ones that's trying to take America's freedom. They're the terrorists, but they're on the payroll of America. See, America runs both sides of the fence, man. They fund both sides of the wars that create conflict. Goes all the way back to what we've always talked about: problem, reaction, solution, Hegelian dialectic. Man, America does it all so that they can maintain proper control of the Middle East. They control everybody. Right? So a U.S. base in Syria gets killed. They said 6 allied Kurdish fighters. So these are allies of Americans. So no Americans got killed. But they're saying that some of their allies died. And Islamic resistance goes back and claims responsibility. I mean, I'm getting twisted. Islamic resistance, my bad, erase everything that I said. Islamic resistance is with Iraq. They're the ones that did the bombing, the retaliatory bombing on America, right? In Syria. The reason why I got twisted because America bombed Syria as well, because they've got bases in Syria as well as Islamic resistance. So there's multiple bombings that's happening within Syria between the U.S. and between the Islamic resistance, right? But these were retaliatory strikes because of the bombings that the UK and the US did, and because of the drone attacks that America carried out on Syria and Iraq on that Friday. All right. So we're seeing here, man, the wild man of the desert trying to get back at it. The bubbling fashion of World War III is still going on. It's still cooking. Nobody's ready to jump out there and say it started. Nobody's willing to say, yeah, it's happening. But I mean, if you want to look at a recipe for World War III, I think all the ingredients is in the pot. We just waiting for the Most High to, turn it up just a little bit. And we know that he's the one that's going to be able to do that. Let's go to Sirach real quick. We're waiting for the Most High to turn up the heat. And we're going to read 10. We'll read 13 down. It says, "For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. Therefore, the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them suddenly." So obviously, we know that the Most High rewards us with destruction when pride comes into play. We know that pride goes before destruction. It's the beginning of sin. When Eve was envious of the knowledge that was being tempted to her, her pride made her say, what the Most High is trying to hold out on us. When Satan came and said that you're not surely going to die if you partake of this tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you're going to become like gods. And she was already saying, well, the Lord told us we can only eat of the trees of the garden, in the midst of the garden of the tree of life. And he said, no. Once you get a taste of both sides of the fence, he's holding out on you. Sin comes into play because her pride said, what? There's more to know. I can be as a God. I need that. Destruction, calamity, death was at the door. Everything started happening. What we're seeing amongst all these nations is pride, obviously. America, the great harlot, the whore, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom, Babylon the Great. We got a lot of pride, a lot of arrogancy, a lot of control of the earth, because we know the so-called white man was blessed with that inheritance, right? He's not going to give it up. You got Putin just did that 2-hour plus interview with Tucker Carlson. I couldn't even get through the first 15 minutes of it, man. You got the interpreter talking over him. Trying to interpret it. He's giving a whole history lesson about Russia, and it's like, come on, man. Don't nobody want to hear that. Don't nobody want to hear that, man. But that's the pride of the so-called white man. He wants to talk about how great Russia was and what caused all the conflicts, and talking about the whole history of Russia and their allies and who's not that. Nobody had time to listen to that. So I passed on that interview. I tried to get through it, but couldn't do it. But all you hear is pride coming out the so-called white man's mouth. Clearly you see Netanyahu. He's running rampant, vowing to destroy all of Hamas. He's not stopping until we see all of the war crimes that they're being committed over there in the Middle East. It's all based upon pride, right? Nobody wants to take an L. Look at this. It says, "The Lord have cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead." That's why we're going to see 2 Ezra 6 and 9 come to pass. That Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right? Didn't the scripture say that the meek shall inherit the earth in Matthew the 5th chapter? See, we're going to replace them. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Lord willing, we all make it into that elect fold to reap the rewards of the afflictions and the sufferings and the sacrifices that we're making into keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and being disciplined and following after the ways of our Father. Lord willing, we get to get a chance to get a hold of that. But the Lord is definitely going to cast down these proud princes that's running rampant in the earth right now. But we need them all to bump heads. Got to have China go at it with Taiwan. China's puffed up saying, no, Taiwan, you need to come back home. Under this under this one China policy, come on back. If not, it's wartime. You got the same thing going on with Ukraine and Russia. You're a part of Russia, come on back. You was already trying to make nice with NATO. NATO don't want you. But Ukraine is saying we're getting all this money. We're launching these wars. We're already too deep in it. It's too late. America obviously is so proud. They're butting their heads in everybody's business. So they've got multiple war fronts and threats coming at them at all angles. You know what I'm saying? So, but the Most High said he's going to cast down these proud princes. Continued on, it says, "The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathens and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took some of them away and destroyed them and have made their memorial to cease from the earth." See, that's what's going to end up happening when this thing really goes down. These countries are going to be overthrown. The heathen are going to be dethroned. And the lowly and the meek of the righteous is going to take their place. The men and women of Israel under the king, Hamashiach Yahushai, is going back to rule. All right. Let's go back over here. So we see the drone attacks going on. Now look at this. This is breaking today. The world news. Israel warned by Egypt, Jordan, and the Saudis against a Rafah invasion, Egypt moving tanks to the border. So now there's a peace treaty between Israel and Egypt, and that peace treaty now is in jeopardy because Israel under Netanyahu, they want to keep pushing forward, and Rafah is the border that is protected and secured by Egypt, and they're saying, look, you're getting too close for comfort. You keep coming over here. You keep, trying to go through this whole genocidal bombing and trying to take out everybody in your path. First of all, we don't agree with how you're getting down, but now you're moving too close to our border. You're threatening this peace agreement that they have. But hey, what's the scripture say regarding peace? We know that. What's that in Ezekiel 9:7? Excuse me. Seven and 25. It says, destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Right. So, you got these countries out here negotiating and trying to talk down Israel and tell them, calm down. You guys don't need to be doing all of that. You're doing too much. They've got peace treaties with various nations, right? But now they're not playing them games. They're moving in, they're doing too much, and now they're getting ready to get handled. It says, as reported earlier on this website, the country of Egypt began moving anti-aircraft missiles and artillery to its borders at Rafah, Gaza, over Israeli intent to invade. Yesterday, both Jordan and Saudi Arabia warned Israel publicly. So now you got Jordan and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is on board with the BRICS economy, allies with Russia, allies with China, allies with Iran now. Right? Remember, China helped negotiate that peace deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia when they had been warring and having issues for centuries. Now they're all warning Israel, you better slow down. You think it's just about Gaza. You think it's just about the Hamas. But now you're overstepping your bounds. Right. So it says on Friday, a phone call between Israel and Egypt went straight off the rails over Israel's announced intention to invade Rafah. During that call, Israel told Egypt they would be taking both sides of the Rafah border crossing from Gaza to Egypt. So notice they said they're going to take both sides of the border. They're saying they're going to take the Egyptian side of the border and they're going to take the side of Gaza. So obviously, this is why the Egyptians said, "Oh, really? Oh, you think you're just going to move us out the way, and we're not going to do nothing about it? Where's the tanks at? Get them tanks out. Let them know we're not playing. Line them up, okay? Let's look at this. Where's this at? So it says the Egyptians reminded Israel that the southern side of the crossing is Egyptian territory, and they cannot send troops to take it. The call went back and forth and finally degenerated when Israel told Egypt, quote, "We took Gaza from you in 1967. We'll take Rafah from you now." See the pride? See the pride? That's when they had the I believe the 6-day war under what's the guy? Abdul Gamal Nasser. Right? So they're reminding him, oh, remember, we already whipped y'all one time, we'll do it again. So now we see the pride of the nations rising up, but who's stirring up that pride? The Most High is the one going to make sure that all those things happen. Let's get that in Daniel. I think it's 21. Yeah. So Daniel 2:21 says, and he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. So the Most High is playing chess. The Most High is playing chess. He's stirring up the pride of these nations after they had a peace deal, look who's jumping up acting a fool again. Amalek, as usual. First Thessalonians 5:3 says, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." So, peace treaty looking like it could be in jeopardy. Who knows? If the pride of the Amalekites, continue on, it may be a problem. One thing's for sure, two things for certain. We know that Israel has decided that, Egypt, it decided that they're going to have to send some tanks over there because of old standing beef may end up having to come back on to the forefront. Okay. So it says, after the call, elements from the Egyptian army began arriving with anti-aircraft missile systems and anti-aircraft artillery. Questions to Egypt about what it was doing were intentionally unanswered. No remarks or explanation to anyone. Yesterday, Saturday, the 10th of February, Egypt reminded Israel of the Camp David Accords negotiated by the Egyptian president Anwar Sadat and then Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin at the invitation of the then U.S. President Jimmy Carter. According to that treaty, the Rafah area is Zone D of the geography covered by the treaty, and that the zone cannot be occupied by Israeli troops as a condition for terminating the war between Israel and Egypt. So it's looking like the Israelis are getting ready to break that treaty in trying to invade more land and more areas that does not belong to them, right? So let's keep an eye on that. U.S. and China tensions have a new front, a naval base in Africa. So, always looking to use Africa as a middleman pawn. The nations always are, utilizing that landmass and the people there. And Ham and, some is Israel over there in Central and West Africa. But that place is always getting abused and colonized. China's over there, Russia's over there, France is over there, the U.S. is over there, controlling every damn thing. But now, because America, we know, has over 700 military and naval bases all throughout the earth, China's trying to catch up, right? So now it's looking like there could be China and U.S. issues over in Africa because the president of Gabon made a secret deal to allow China to have a naval base that could threaten America over there in Africa. Let's look at this. American officials urged leaders in Gabon and Equatorial Guinea to reject Beijing's overtures for a military presence on their Atlantic coastline. In August, Ali Bongo, then president of the Central African nation of Gabon, made a startling revelation to a top White House aide during a meeting at his presidential palace. Bongo admitted he had secretly promised Chinese leader Xi Jinping that Beijing could station military forces on Gabon's Atlantic Ocean coast. Alarmed U.S. Principal Deputy National Security Advisor John Feiner urged Bongo to retract the offer, according to an American national security official. The U.S. considers the Atlantic its strategic front yard and sees a permanent Chinese military presence there, particularly a naval base where Beijing could rearm and repair warships, as a serious threat to American security. So that lets you know that the colonizers, America is still running. Even look at Africa, man. They don't have the autonomy to make their own decisions and do what they want to do. As soon as they had to make a secret deal with China, you understand? Then they go back and they say, well, hold on. Once America finds out, they say, you better go back and renegotiate and call that off. We got problems with Chinese. Are you trying to put us in danger? Go back over there and tell them. They don't have no control of their own damn country. They can't make their own decisions about who they're going to accept deals with, who they want, what military bases did they have there, what military securities that they're going to have around them. That shows you, man. This is another thing that you can utilize it, understand when you hear the argument regarding uh, Esau is not the white man, the Arabs are. Now, the scriptures probably say if that's the case, then you know we got a long way to go regarding this captivity, right? Because the Arabs ain't in control of nothing. They've got their blessings in regards to the oil, the wealth, and so forth and so on, but they still need to negotiate. They still are relying upon Esau to make everything click and get that money. They're relying on the dollar, the U.S. Reserve world currency, currently right now, but they're breaking free. They cut off the petrodollar. They're trying to get over there with the BRICS. But who's running the BRICS? Russia really is the front man. China's right behind them. I had an article. I can't remember if I ever got it or not, but there was an article that particularly said that Putin was the head of the BRICS, and China was behind him. Let me see if I can remember the headline. Uh, yeah, I can't remember the exact headline off the top, but I mean, you can see down here just one little headline. Putin urges BRICS nations to work with Russia. I mean, he's going on Zoom meetings telling them, calling the shots, telling them to work with Russia. But yeah, there was a particular article I can't remember off the top where it is, but it pretty much said, man, they running. You know, they're the face. He's the face and leader of the BRICS. You know, because he's entangled with this war, Xi Jinping has been kind of like stepping in his place, but you know, he's back on track again, doing interviews and you know, outside as they say. You know, these little youngsters be, I'm outside. Putin is outside right now doing interviews, doing this thing. The Ukraine war is pretty much a wrap. They got the BRICS thing rolling right now. The U.S. dollar is being devalued as we speak, as they're trying to take over on the new financial front. I mean, all of this is going to come to naught at the end of the day because you know the Lord ain't looking for the next kingdom to rule outside of the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of Israel under the leadership of Christ. But the nations surely are in delusion, thinking that you know there's a pathway for them to continue on rulership. But you know, we see here, man. I mean, even over there in Africa, that's why I said, even when you're looking at white, if the white man does not control the earth and he's not Esau, man, the Arabs don't have no power to do that. They wouldn't be over there being able to tell the president of Gabon, hey, go back and reconsider that agreement that you told the Chinese, man, or we're gonna pull all funding. All hell's gonna break loose over there, man. We'll mess around and have a coup, assassinate you, and throw in a damn dictator of our choosing. They'll overthrow everything in a minute. That's the power of one who controls the earth. All signs lead towards Esau and the so-called white man of having that power. Nobody else, right? It says anytime the Chinese start nosing around a coastal African country, we get anxious. Why? It's not your land. Because they have so much invested over there, because they've got everybody, you know, the African leaders in their pockets, colonized control. They say as soon as they start nosing around a coastal African country, they get anxious as if they're in America. But that shows you how his empire has expanded all throughout the earth. You see that? So let's continue. Look at it. Russia's bringing nuclear war survival training to schools. Look at what they're prepping their kids on. Nuclear war survival training is now going to be part of the curriculum in Russia. And you may say, well, why is that? Is it really going to get that bad? Obviously, they believe so. Obviously, the nations are understanding and saying this is the pathway that this thing is going down right now. While over here in America, they're teaching kids new pronouns. They're teaching kids, man, hey, the man can go in the women's bathroom, but women, you can go in the men's bathroom. Y'all can play sports together, and uh, you know, they're over here snatching kids from parents because they won't allow them to take hormone blockers and uh, get their transmissions worked on. You understand what I'm saying? They want to become transformers, Decepticons, and here they go. The other nations is out here prepping for war and teaching their children how to survive during these times. I played a video, what was it, 2 weeks ago, of one of the military leaders of NATO, and he was saying, "Look, it would be smart to have some water and some radios and all of that." And they was talking about, man, we're not even going to play around. Like peace is even part of the equation right now. Y'all seen that video? They're over here prepping for war and telling everybody get ready. And what's America over here doing? Talking about Taylor Swift, talking about the Grammys, talking about he, her, they, them. The Negroes still run around thinking they're going to get reparations. Uh, wake up. That ain't going down. Okay. So it says Russian high school students will be trained how to protect themselves in a possible nuclear war as part of the national curriculum. A local publication has reported. How do you think people will react? Y'all can comment in the chat, man. How do you think people will react if American curriculum? I mean, here they got the critical race theory as part of the curriculum. They're adding in LGBTQ plus HIV history is part of the curriculum. I mean, some of these colleges, man, is doing courses on Tupac, and I mean, this is the type of education that America is pushing and publicizing, right? How do you think people will react here if all of a sudden all counties and districts in America and school system said nuclear war survival is going to be part of your child's curriculum? How do you think people react? Feel free to comment. I'll double back and look at some of the comments. Everybody and their mama will lose their minds over here. There will be panic galore. People are going to be saying, well, what's going to happen? Are we going to war? Is war going to happen? Do I need water? Do I need food? Do I need to get canned goods? Do I need to get ammo? What should I do? Do I need to get a bunker? People will start wilding out. Internet will be flooded with ideas, understanding why, when, how long do I got? The other nations aren't even tripping on that. They already know and been prepared because they already know this is a possibility within the lifestyles that they live over here. Over here in America, where the illusions are so great, you can't see past the fog. I mean, you see these wireheads on you see them. I'm sure y'all seen some of the videos now where they wearing them Apple goggles and walking around in 3D. This is what people in America, this is what they want. They want to be plugged into the matrix, wire-headed out with VR goggles on, walking in the streets. I seen the video, the dude drive autopilot in his Tesla while he got the damn goggles on, and he gets pulled over by the police. Another dude walking across the street, he acting like he touching stuff. This is how lost. This is why America's going to be destroyed, man, because they are not prepared. America is not prepared at all. Sitting pretty like the great whore that it is, riding the beast and acting as if it can't be touched. And other nations are saying, yeah, go ahead. We're going to catch you slipping. Look at this. Students will learn about the combat properties and damaging effects of weapons of mass destruction, as well as methods of protection against them. It will be part of a subject being rolled out in high schools in Russia called Fundamentals of Security and Defense of the Motherland. Newspaper Kommersant reported on Tuesday, citing a document from the Ministry of Education. Now, I think it was maybe 2-3 months ago, they were passing out gas masks and all kind of stuff in schools. If y'all remember that article I showed. Yeah, sure. Byron, absolute chaos. People were losing. Why are they teaching this to the schools? How come they ain't telling us what's going on? They're hiding something. People will go crazy. They will go crazy, right? But they don't want to incite panic. They want everybody worried about, having a good time, keeping the blinders on, staying high, pop that pill, go enjoy the lust of the flesh, man. You right here in paradise. Nobody's gonna touch us. This is America. We're good. Who you betting on today? You dig what I'm saying? I seen an article earlier today. They anticipate this Super Bowl. Why? I don't know. Because didn't the same two teams play a couple of years ago? Why this one is supposed to be the biggest game ever, most watched ever, highest betting stakes going on right now? And the same teams played a few years ago. Why now? All of a sudden, this is the biggest distraction going on. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'll probably watch a little bit later on, whenever, if I get around to it. I'll keep it real, but I'm not pressed to watch it like that. I'm not going to no party. I'm not hanging. If I'm around, ain't nothing else going on. If I ain't doing nothing else, I'll peep in. But it's definitely not a priority at this point in time, because clearly it's being used as a distraction. How are they pumping this thing up to be the biggest thing going ever? Let me see if I can find that article. I don't know what it wasn't it. I don't know. Either way, they out there saying it's gonna be the biggest thing ever. I forgot where I seen it at. But yeah, see that? NFL eyes supersized global audience for the Super Bowl. I guess they're contributing. Look at this. They want the whole world on it. Sunday Super Bowl is expected to shatter viewership records in the U.S. and with an assist from the federal government. I haven't read this. I didn't get an assist from the federal government. Could be the most watched NFL game ever around the world. Anytime you see an assist from the federal government, then you probably know something else is going on. Something else is being added to the pot. The highly anticipated match. What's the federal government got to do with a damn sports game? Unless we get back to Caesar, Rome, and the Colosseum, bread and circuses. You know what I'm saying? The highly anticipated matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs will be shown in 190 countries and is getting a boost from the U.S. State Department, which is hosting watch parties in more than 30 overseas locations. Imagine that. What does the U.S. State Department and the government got to profit off of by promoting the Super Bowl? Very interesting. Very interesting. Uh, let's get back over here, right? This is what Russia's talking about, but the U.S. State Department is out here promoting the Super Bowl. You see what the problem is? Very interesting. Look at this. Iran can build a nuclear bomb in 1 week, signaling extreme danger for the Western world, the report says. So Iran, clearly they're getting ready to arm up for war. In a week, they can get a nuke going, right? Iran has enough weapons-grade uranium to produce its first nuclear weapon within a week and a total of 6 bombs within a month, a scenario that is increasingly likely to unfold as conflict in the Middle East reaches critical levels, according to a report from a watchdog group. The volatile situation in the region is providing Iran with a unique opportunity and increased internal justification for building nuclear weapons, while the United States and Israel's resources to detect and deter Iran from succeeding are stretching thin. Remember, even during the time of the Ukraine war, Slow Biden was saying we're running out of ammo. We ain't got nothing left. And Iran's just getting started. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting as they get to building, as they continue on with their negotiations of knowledge and sharing of information with Russia. Right? They already have that military bond, and we've read that 1,000,001 times out of Ezekiel 38. So we already know how that's going to play out. They're going to get their nukes together. Best believe. They're talking about what could be. I wouldn't be surprised they already got it done. And they just haven't revealed it. You know? Because once one of America's biggest enemies has nukes and they've had prior conflicts already, America's going to itch their pants. Believe that. Let's go. Now watch this. Outrage is Biden administration amidst surveilling Americans' private financial transactions for words like MAGA, Trump, and Kamala in wake of the January 6th riots, with people buying Bibles on the top of their watch list. And a Negro want to sit out here and question whether or not they're going to vote for Slow Biden again. Don't you realize, man, that dude is the devil all day long? Trump even, no, he even said it one time. Slow Biden said, I don't care if you think I'm the devil reincarnated. I'm doing this. Like, hold on, let me see. That was funny to me. Where's that video? Oh, no. There you go. Yeah, see, I don't have to play the video, but you can see here. I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. Biden says no excuse for people underplaying Capitol riot. Too late for that. He knows. Come on, Slow Biden. You know. This dude's a damn devil. Now here he goes. He's saying, after that little January 16th scene, Esau was going to utilize each other for cannon fodder, right? But the results of what they're doing really is going to target how we interact, what happens with us, right? Because who's out here waking up in droves, learning the truth, buying Bibles en masse, because now they need that sword to continue on sharpening themselves in life? Israel. You're already being labeled as a black identity extremist. The Southern Poverty Law Center and the ADL has already made sure that every so-called black Hebrew Israelite camp congregation is listed and on their watch list. Or now they're checking financial records, and they want to. The top of the list is who's buying Bibles. Why and when has that become the biggest weapon now? It should tell you something. This is why you see scriptures like Amos 8 and 11. This is why you see certain stuff like this. Remember, we talked about 1984 and the Ministry of Truth. With them telling you what's okay, what isn't okay, what's true, what isn't true. Well, they dictate reality. Now look at this. Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Most High Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. So they're laying down the groundwork of just tracking who's buying Bibles. Are they extremists? Check their background. Look at their social medias. What are they liking? What are they promoting? What are they watching? You understand? These are all the things that's going to be happening. And we see, do I want this second as a yeah, let me read 5 and 1. It says, nevertheless, second Ezra 5 and 1. Nevertheless, as the coming tokens, behold, the days come, that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. See, when we start seeing stuff like this, when you see Esau is out here trying to monitor who's getting Bibles, you know, don't be surprised sometime down the line where they start banning Bibles. If they're not banning them, you won't be able to find a KJV. They're all going to be tampered with, rewritten by AI. I covered a story over there in England where they said that they were going to stop. Um, what was it? I can't recall if it was the Bibles. No, they were rewriting the Bibles to include they and them because they didn't want husband and wife to be offensive. So slowly but surely, they're going to take out the KJVs, NLTs, whatever versions you want to read. The ones that they're recognizing, they say, "Oh, the Israel, oh, they like them KJV. Oh, most of them are all KJV only. Okay." All these other Bibles, they're going to start moving on them, and then they're going to start readjusting them to where you're not going to be able to even have a original text anymore. They'll mess around and distort all of them. So new Jakes is coming in the truth and all that, looking for, they ain't gonna be able to get the real ones. Let alone all of the restrictions when it comes down to public rights of speech, your quote unquote freedoms on the internet. All that's going to be getting cracked down on soon too. But slow Biden opened up the door for it. We see right here, people buying Bibles is on the watch list. The Biden administration has admitted to surveilling the private financial transactions of Americans for words including MAGA, Trump, and Kamala following the January 6th riot. Federal investigators in the Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network instructed banks to comb through records to look for extremists. A letter from the Treasury Department seen by Fox News was sent to Senator Tim Scott on Friday, which states exchange events began shortly after January 6th under the prior administration. So they're watching. They're watching. And don't think it's just they looking for the red hat wearing hick from Alabama or the guy over in Montana with his Make America Great hat on. No. They looking and combing through everybody. You know they watching and hearing all the Israelites is on there talking about death to America, all this. Yeah, they watching all of that. All of us, I should say. Because I'm not excluded. So best believe. Oh, is this extremist behavior? Let's see what they're talking about. Yeah, download that, save that, clip that. What do you say? Oh, yep. Okay, we got that one. Now go back to his financial records. What has he been buying? What's he doing? Oh, he's prepping. Oh, he's been buying ammo. He's been doing this. He's been doing that. Okay, watch him. See, all of that. Notice we've talked about carbon passports, part of the world ID, restrictions of travel, uh, cut down on your flight times. It's good. It's better for the earth. So CNN had an article out. Look at this. Could carbon passports that limit how much we travel be in our future? Now notice the elites, there's no stopping them. They got private jets, man. They flying all over the place, doing whatever they want to do. I think Bill Gates, they called Bill Gates on it. He got like 3 or 13 private jets or something like that. It was like, man, how the hell are you running around talking about climate change and how we need to save the future and cut down on carbon emissions? And you got all these private jets. And this dude said basically, like, look, I'm trying to save the world. I got to get around. And I don't have time to be flying commercial. I got to move. But meanwhile, you're one of the biggest, proponents of destroying the earth. Come on, man. But remember, this is what we talked about. These are all methods in which we talked about the passports. Remember when the health crisis hit 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, and they started introducing the idea of having passports needed as long as you got poked in your arm. The V to the A to the X passports. And that's real because I had I think I still got it on my phone, but there was a brother that was explaining his situation. He lives overseas. And at the time when the whole thing was going on, he had to have that passport downloaded on his phone. They made sure that they scanned his QR code everywhere that he went. Uh, couldn't come in, go to certain places if he didn't have that downloaded on there. That's how they want to create a new form of constraint in the future. This is the part of the Great Reset. This is part of the quote unquote Build Back Better program is restricting travel. You know, so brothers are traveling, going to this state, that state, and this city, this county, going to try to do the work. Eventually, they're gonna be like, But wait, I got a flag waiting for me over here in Jamaica or the Bahamas or in the UK or I got to get over here to France. As brothers, we got no, you're not going over there. Well, I'll just find them on the internet. That's getting restricted too. A carbon passport will regulate travelers' emissions. Alex Hawkins, the strategic foresight editor at the Future Laboratory, who spearheaded the report, told BI, this is a Business Insider, that the concept might be necessary eventually if we didn't work toward a more sustainable world. The idea of carbon passports is based on the idea of personal carbon allowances. See, that's going to even descend into your purchasing power. So if you get that carbon-based credit, I did it DSTM maybe like 2 years ago, maybe a year, and time is moving so fast. I want to believe it was probably close to 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years. Um, Showing the Visa card or no, it was a MasterCard. They got the MasterCard carbon card, right? That is going to be designed and built. And notice it's the MasterCard because who's the master? See, Christ is our master, right? But Esau still has the slave mentality where he's massa. MasterCard has the carbon card where it will regulate your purchasing power, is going to track your carbon footprint. How much you're traveling, what are you buying, is it good for the earth, is it not? You only have a certain amount of, let's say for instance, calories, stuff like that. You can't, everything's going to be regulated based upon controlled spending. And that's when you get into the universal basic income. Once they crash the economy and everybody's out here struggling, broke down, waiting for employment, oh, it's too late, the robots and took over all the labor jobs. That's out of here. Everything's going to be based upon internet transactions and um, carbon based tracking purchases and all of that. This is where he wants everything to go. This is where the so-called white man wants everything to go, where everything is completely monitored, tracked, traced, and controlled. So when the layoffs are continuing and jobs are shutting down, businesses closing, and everybody's broke scratching their heads saying, well, what are we supposed to do? And they come back and say, well, guess what? We've got a new idea, universal basic income, man. Everybody gonna get $1,200 every, whatever, $2,000 a month. But you have to spend it on this, that, and a third only. And we're going to monitor how much gas you're using, how much you're traveling. Oh, you can't oh, we're shutting off your car because you exceeded your carbon emissions. You can't use that. You gotta wait till next month. And if you keep doing it, we're just going to take less money. We're going to take more money out of your funding. Matter of fact, we might just cut you off, and you can live underground like the people on uh, uh, Demolition Man, as we've been talking about that for the last couple of weeks. So this gets into. I mean, this is how we see Second Ezra, man. It's so Second Ezra 15. It's so intricate when you're talking about verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. That's even part of the restrictions. When they start pumping up this idea about, oh, your travel could be limited Your abilities to go from city to city, state to state, country to country can be limited because of the new carbon passports that are required for travel. You can see that. No, I mean, remember with the whole little plague outbreak, the quarantines and all the other stuff was restricting people from going here, there, and also. See, that was like a beta test. They wanted to see, well, where is it? Where and how can we control travel limitations? Confine everybody into particular spaces so that we can control them. It's easier. When everybody's able to go wherever they want to go and move around however they want to move, it's more difficult. So we need everybody consolidated. Look how they did in China. They had them locked down in their houses, man. They was actually welding and sealing doors shut. Damn, Moab was jumping out of damn balconies trying to get out the house. Troops on the streets. Quarantines. Curfews. You can't go to certain countries unless you had got poked in the arm, making sure you was safe. Oh, no mask, you can't get in. 6 feet. You know, all of that stuff. See, look at it. Hawkins acknowledged that this wasn't a new concept. The UK Parliament outlined a similar idea in 2008 report called Personal Carbon Trading. Carbon passports have taken that idea one step further because they would involve tracking and limiting travel carbon emissions. Specifically, Hawkins added. The report said individuals needed to limit their carbon use to 2.3 tons a year to mitigate the climate crisis. The average U.S. citizen emits 16 tons annually, the report added. So did you hear that? They said the average U.S. citizen emits 16 tons of carbon annually. They want it down to 2.3 per person. So you can already imagine the limitations on farming and access to food through organic means. They're going to cut that down. That's why you see all these riots and marches and protests going on in Europe right now. And the farmers going through all of that because they're trying to get them and put them out of business and telling them that organic farming and the farming is harming the earth. We need to save the earth, so we need to shut down your farm, shut down your business. That's going to impact the stores. The store is going to have to actually charge more because what? The foods that people have grown accustomed to is going to be more scarce. So it means it's going to be more expensive until they're completely phased out. And the only foods that's going to be offered is, the corporate farms that's coming up with the GMOs and the Franken foods and everything else. And that's the only thing that's going to, these little carbon credit cards that you can only buy with that government-based foods. You ain't gonna be able to go to Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and Sprouts and Ralph's and all that other stuff and buy what you want. Oh yeah, your carbon credits is only going to pay for things that's going to help the earth, sustain the earth. So this is the future that they're trying to establish, man. 16 tons annually, they want it down to 2.3. That's why they're pushing so hard to ban the gas powered cars and gas powered tools and they even talking about gas stoves, especially in California. They said by 2025, they're trying to cut all of that out. No more lawnmowers and gas ovens. They want everything going either electric. So electric stoves, and they're trying to kill it all. So it's going to be very interesting when these things start coming to pass because we see what's going on in the scriptures. The scriptures say they're going to make moves to restrict travel, to cut off the word of the Lord from being preached and taught, right? They're going to work on their best to try to defile our temples so that we become unacceptable to the Lord. They're working hard, man. They're working hard. Look at this. New York father loses legal battle to stop his son 8 from taking puberty blockers to change gender. Now, last week there was another story, but this one was out of oh man, where was that other one? They had shoot. They said CPS wrote on. I can't remember if it was Montana. It was somewhere. But this is the second case that parents now are being sued by the state. States are taking kids away for not allowing them to roll with the LGBTQ plus HIV program. So parental rights are now being violated, where the state now says, "We're daddy, we're mama. You don't know what's good for your son or daughter. They want to become a Decepticon. Hey, we're ready to make it happen." 8 years old, they want them on puberty blockers. Can you imagine? They've got schools, man, where they out here letting the kids do stuff without parent consent. They're hiding stuff. They're force feeding the kids these agendas. They're going through private counselings at these schools, coercing and talking these kids into being a part of the agenda. You know what I'm talking about? Dennis Hannon has denied medical authority over his 8-year-old son. He learned about his son's possible transition via a letter calling him Ruby. Yeah, here's another one. Family, that's another link to it. The family lost custody of their daughter 14 after refusing a transition. Where it says read more. I think that might have been the other one. But anyway, it says here, New York family court officials have denied a father the legal right to stop his 8-year-old son taking life-changing hormones that would begin his medical transition to a girl. Dennis Hannon, 32, a senior software engineer from Buffalo, has been locked in a nightmare legal battle with Erie Supreme Court spanning 7 years, fighting to retain his fundamental parental rights. He claims that the boy's mother pushed their child's transition and says the boy himself has not distressed about living as a boy. So you see here, man, just the mama is in the midst, pushing this. Father is fighting for his rights. When if things was rolling by the scriptures and the man was in his proper order as the head of the household, they ain't no disputes going on between her, whether they married or not. They could be still married and the mother saying do it and he's saying no, that could cause a divorce. Maybe they divorced. I don't know. I didn't read the whole article. But the fact remains is that this tug of war of who has the rights over your children right now is becoming more evident. Where we're seeing now that the states is even moving in, snatching up kids from parents. California passed a law saying that they'd I think they said that it could be against the law for not allowing the state to hold on. See, look at that. California passes a bill punishing parents who don't affirm trans kids in custody battles. Utter madness. The California State Assembly bill passed a bill on Friday that will require judges in child custody cases to consider whether a parent affirmed a child's belief that they are transgender. AB 957 originally proposed that courts deciding custody cases must consider whether each parent was gender affirming the child in question. So, custody battles now. If the so-called kid wants to be a Decepticon and a Transformer, the judge and the courts will decide whether or not the parents both affirm it. They have to agree to it. They're no longer parents anymore. The judge now makes a decision what they're going to believe and what values that they have. And if you don't like it, we'll go ahead and take the kids. If you don't like it, we'll give parental rights to the parent who does affirm. An amendment in June added to the state standard of what constitutes parental responsibility for child welfare, requiring the parents must be affirming of a child's gender identity if they are to be judged fit for providing the health, safety, and welfare of the child in the court of law. Can you imagine? If you don't affirm your child's gender identity, you're not fit to provide their health, safety, and welfare. This is disgusting. Disgusting. Let's continue on, man. Ex-rabbi, co-founder of a private equity firm, explains why he acquired Pornhub. And I brought this out just to show you, man. The GMO small hats, and they're saying that he could still be a rabbi, but most people are saying that he's not anymore. But the biggest outlet for pornography is owned by a GMO small hat. Whether he's still a rabbi or not, he's saying that he's of the chosen. You see what they're involving themselves in? Solomon Friedman is one of the new owners of Pornhub. He is an attorney and rabbi. Some reports say he's a former rabbi. See that? His private equity firm took over MindGeek, the umbrella company of virtually every porn site. So who controls the? You know what? I got to slow down on that because brother sent us a video, and the brother Benayah or Benaiah, I don't know how he pronounces his name. Some say it's Benaiah, some say it's Benayah. But the brother made a video and saying that Georgia has a new law that would enhance the penalties regarding what's considered anti-S word, shem. I gotta, the bots be listening for that. You know what I'm talking about, the anti-S word, right? So they saying, look, if you say they control Hollywood, they doing it, that could be considered punishable by a misdemeanor fine of, I think they said a year in jail and some money or something like that. Georgia's passing a law regarding that. So you couldn't even say Solomon Friedman. The name alone is ridiculous. Oh, he's a GMO small hat, and they run the whole porn game. You can't say that. It's a fact, but you can't say that. It could be a problem in Georgia. Not federal law, it's state law. They're going to have a hard time trying to really push that out there. But they're fully protected, man. They're fully protecting these people. But you even see behind that aspect of unlawful behavior. I mean, they're running all of this stuff, man. I'm struggling even trying to express it, but I'm leaving this up long enough, man, so y'all can kind of read it. But look who's running this stuff, man. This is all I'm saying. Look who's running this stuff. Meanwhile, let me see this other article before I forget. Meanwhile, Nicaragua. Now I gotta tip my hat to the president of Nicaragua a little bit, because he's doing something that I've always wondered, why is this not happening even more? Nicaragua's crackdown on the Catholic Church spreads fear among the faithful there and in exile. Number one, if this is going on, as we know it is, in Nicaragua, this is number one, you already breaking the law, as they've got the kids here holding up the cross. I mean, we know the law. Do I need to go there? Just real quick. I know y'all know, but for those who don't, just in case, we'll just go to the milk. Exodus 23:4. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahweh, thy power, and my jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. We're not supposed to be making graven images and carved and sculptured images as forms of worship. What do? They've got the Caesar Borgia sculptures. They've got the Mary sculptures. They got the rosary beads. They got the crosses. They've got uh, damn near a saint for every day of the year. They've got the little idol statues of the saints. They got the candles that they burning with pictures of Caesar Borgia on the outside. Nicaragua's cracking down, saying partially, and I'm not saying he's all talking about this because he's doing righteousness now, but some of the reasonings I agree with him ousting and cracking down on them. Picture alone, we see him out here with praising idols in the streets, right? Look at Miami. 19 priests got kicked out of the country, dozens of incidences of harassment and church desecrations, rural areas lacking worship and social services. The situation for the Catholic clergy and faithful in Nicaragua is only worsening in 2024, according to exiled priests, lay people in the Central American country, and human rights advocates. Now, the reason why these 19 priests got kicked out is because they got accused of supporting a civil unrest that was supposed to be, anti-government. Now that was I think they said it was in 2018 that this whole incident happened. And the president said, well, look, it's looking like y'all are supporting this and they trying to, get a coup and oust me. And if the priest is involved in this, I'm gonna get rid of the priests. So they locked up some of the priests, and then they immediately got deported off to the Vatican. So White Zaddy over there can redistribute them out and go under the wings of the damn white man. So they all got routed out back to White Zaddy, central headquarters of the Vatican, and letting the white man take care of them, right? So we kicked them out. So it says the fear of the ongoing crackdown by President Daniel Ortega on the Catholic Church, in particular by not sparing evangelicals, has become so pervasive that it's silencing criticism of the authoritarian government and even mentions of the repressions from the pulpit. What's the problem? I mean, did the Catholic Church have any problems when they were signing over papal bulls, spreading their messages all throughout the world, calling all of our people heathens and infidels, and if they don't submit to the Catholic Church, that they should be put to death? How about the Spanish Inquisition? They doing all the same. They have a history of doing all the same things. But even worse, they were out signing death warrants, killing people, killing our people, right? Do we have to talk about the history of pedophilia and the sodomite priests and everything else? See, now all of a sudden, revisionist history is not cool. And they're talking about an authoritarian government. Hey, well, the Catholic Church used to run the show just like a government. So let me drop down. Look at this. It says, if it gets dangerous to pray the rosary in the street, it is exceedingly so that, hold on, let me start up here. All the time silence gets deeper, said Martha Patricia Molina, a Nicaraguan lawyer who fled to the United States. Her work recording hundreds of instances of church persecution recently won her an International Religious Freedom Award from the U.S. State Department. If it's dangerous to pray the rosary in the street, it is exceedingly so to report attacks. So here she's talking about it's dangerous to pray with a rosary in the street. First of all, you shouldn't be having a rosary, praying to the rosary, rubbing on the beads, utilizing vain repetitions, Hail Mary, Mother full of grace, and all that other foolishness. Here, Matthew 6 and 7. From the words of Yahweh Shai. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet. And when thou hast shut thy door, pray to the Father which is in secret, and thy Father which is in secret shall reward thee openly. But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. So here she is talking about, oh, well, if we can't pray in the streets with our rosary beads, hell no, you can't. Yahweh Shai just told you no. It's dangerous to pray in the streets with a rosary. Hail Mary, Mother full of grace, whatever the whole little chant is that they do, vain repetitions. Rubbing on the rosary beads with the cross on the end, thinking that that's going to allow your prayers to be heard. Praying to Mary. Okay. So good looking out for the President Ortega. Look, many priests believe that if they make reports, there will be more reprisals against the communities. We as lay people would like for them to speak, but the only alternatives are cemetery, prison, or exile. Well, that's the law. You worshiping idols, man. The Most High said you've worshiping any other gods before me, man. You should be put to death. The idols are supposed to be broken and destroyed. That's according to the law. We're not supposed to be having these idols in our possessions or around us. Prison or exile. She says she counted 30 church desecrations in the past year. Why? Because the idols was getting destroyed? Was that the desecration? Crosses getting broken down? Life in Nicaragua is hell because surveillance is brutal. You can't say anything that's against the government. And an exile priest, said an exile priest. Like him, most exiles interviewed for this story to the Associated Press on a condition of anonymity out of fear of retribution against their families or communities in Nicaragua. They're talking about if they do it to the priest, what are they going to do to us? There was something else I seen on this article. Let me see. It was. I forgot. There was another little piece of shit. It's a pretty long article. I can't recall. There was another part on here that I was looking at. But nonetheless, all of the priests, man, they exiled them back to the Vatican. So they got picked up, went back to their little headquarters of evil. And he's cracking down, saying, man, enough with the praying in the streets with the rosaries and all of that. They said all of the churches are still open. People can still go worship and all that other stuff, man. But a couple of examples I seen in this article is all scripturally right. They weren't supposed to be going through dealing with all this folly that they're doing. And it's hypocritical dealing with the history of the Catholic Church and how they treated people, in particular the Israelites. When they came over here, with the Jesuit priests and being accompanied by the Spaniard conquistadors and all of that, man, imposing their will on people, and then they want to turn around and repent of their deeds and open up schools and sit around with the Jesuit hospitals, and it's too late for all of that. Get out of here. Still trying to control areas. There was a little documentary I was watching on the it was in Native Americans. The which tribe was it? They were North Dakota, the Oglala nation. I believe that they're the descendants of the not the Crow, but the damn, I don't want to mess them up. But shoot, it's one of the most impoverished, if not the most impoverished county in America. The average median income at the time, I remember reading about them back in like early 2000s, but their average median income was less than $8,000 a year over there. But I seen this documentary, man. This Edomite went over there on the res, and the one presence that still remains over there that has authority religion wise is the damn Catholic Church. You got this big old Catholic Church still there. They're still over there infiltrating and trying to get they have a balance between church and custom. But nonetheless, Catholic Church, man, has done a lot of damage, man. A lot of damage. And they know it over there. But they still give them a pass and let them hang out over there and still having church services and doing all that, man. So I'm not mad at Ortega down there in Nicaragua booting them down wicked ass priests up out of there. All right. So let's continue on. You see this here? I made mention of this a couple of weeks ago, but it just dawned on me now to revisit it. 215 people have been buried behind a Mississippi jail since 2016, an attorney says. Families of people who were buried in Popper's Field next to the Hines County Penal Farm near Jackson, Mississippi, are calling for a federal investigation into the burials, which took place without families being notified. With their attorney now saying the field holds hundreds of more graves, the families want a full accounting of their bodies buried there. You see how that works, man? This is how Shalakia, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right, my bad, y'all. If y'all remember, man, Mississippi got a lot of damn dirt on their hands, man. I remember bringing this out a while back regarding the Devil's Punch Bowl. If y'all remember that, let's look at that real quick. Devil's Punch Bowl in Natchez, Mississippi. That was the first quote unquote concentration camp in history. We ain't talking about whatever happened over there in Germany. Let's see, maybe this will give me something real quick. The deadly history of the infamous site in Mississippi is terrible but true. Of all historic sites in Mississippi, few have a past as deadly as the Devil's Punch Bowl in Natchez. Local legend says the Mississippi River pirates once used the secluded area as both a hideout and a spot to bury their loot. In recent years, the story behind the Devil's Punch Bowl grew increasingly sinister when a mass grave, was found in the area. As historians looked into the grisly discovery, they learned that the grave held the bodies of thousands of formerly enslaved African Americans. As the story unraveled, researchers were faced with an even more terrifying reality. The bodies belonged to the slaves who were freed post-Civil War and then re-imprisoned in concentration camps located in the Devil's Punch Bowl. So who's got real rights to the quote-unquote concentration camp oppressions? This was post-Civil War. We're talking late 1800s. We're not talking 1940. Our people been going through these things. Once freed, then get re-imprisoned, put in these concentration camps, getting slaved and put to death and buried in unmarked graves in Natchez, Mississippi. And here we see it here. Thousands of formerly enslaved African Americans, man. Over there, still in Mississippi, they're still up to the same folly. This time, exercising it out there in behind the damn prisons. Let me look. Chirac 44. And this, for the cats, man, be worrying about the chemic Egyptologists and all that. Who was first? We did it first. We did. Where's the bodies at? Where's Moses? Where's Aaron? Where y'all ain't got no bodies? First of all, they ain't really started discovering no bodies until the 18th dynasty for them. I mean, you got multiple bodies missing over there, so slow down. But our scriptures already validated and understood what was going to happen to our bodies. And here's an example here. Sirach 44, it says, "Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. Leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning, meet for the people. Wise and eloquent are their instructions." Now watch this. "Such are found out musical tunes and recited verses in writing. Rich men furnished with ability, living peaceably in their habitations. All these were honored in their generations and were the glory of their time. There be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported. And some there be have no memorial, who are perished as though they had never been." See, it's no surprise when we see how, just based upon the lesson I did yesterday about the great cover up, the concerted effort to desecrate, destroy, vandalize our histories, covering up our impacts on the world. So it should be no surprise. There's areas over there in Jerusalem right now that are restricted that you can't go through. Brothers go over there. Brothers have made their pilgrimage. I talked to a couple of brothers over there, or that's been over there. And there's definitely areas that you cannot go to, that you can't, go and excavate no graves or what. All that stuff, man. They put complete restrictions on things, man. But we see here, some people are gonna die as if they never been alive. Oh, where's Moses' bones at? Where's Abraham bones at? Guess what? We already know there's going to be a concerted effort to hide our histories, destroy our legacies, man. And they're still doing it to this day. You think that there's been a memorial and a remembrance of the thousands that died over there in Natchez, Mississippi, in the Devil's Punch Bowl? You ever think they found out those names? I did the DSTM 6-8 months ago, maybe longer than that ago, where they were talking about how I forgot what company it was, but they built this company in the parking lot on a gravesite, unmarked gravesite in Florida. And they've got housing projects that they built on top of graves down there in Florida. So it's been a well-known practice that our people our deaths have been unacknowledged, gone by, histories and legacies of people completely vanished because of what? Industrialism, the so-called white man covering up his dirt and his lies, his murders, right? So it says, "And some there be which have no memorial, which are perished as though they had never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them." See, so we already know there was going to be a time and point in the legacy to where they were going to make it seem as though some of these didn't exist. Look at Jeremiah. It says, "At that time, saith Yahweh, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of his princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of the grave." So grave robbing going on during the time of Babylon. Taking out the bones of the kings, the princes, the prophets, right? "And they shall spread them before the sun and the moon and all the hosts of heaven, whom they have loved and whom they have served, and after whom they have walked, whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered nor buried. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth." Verse 3. "And death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of them that remain of this evil family, which remain in all the places whither I have driven them, saith the power of hosts." So getting back over here, is there any surprise that we're seeing this type of activity happen? 215 people been buried. They're saying there's more, right? Now, if it's in jail, the mass populace is more than likely is heavily populated with Israelite bodies. I remember seeing part of this article. It was Edomite family that couldn't was kind of spearheading the charge because their relative was had gone missing, and they realized he died in jail and all that, and they had no recovery of his body. And you know what's going on with that? Organ harvesting, the whole nine is happening, man. As they dumping them bodies in the back, right? Families of people who are buried in Poppers Field next to the Hines County Penal farm near Jackson, Mississippi, are calling for a federal investigation into the burials, which took place without families being notified, with their attorney now saying the field holds hundreds more graves. The families want a full accounting of their bodies buried there. The issue became national news last fall when several families said they had waited months to hear about a missing loved one, only to learn their relative had died months earlier and were buried in a grassy field. Their graves marked only by a metal tag bearing a number. Their attorney, civil rights lawyer Ben Crump, says he believes many more people were buried under similar circumstances. Uh, yeah, Ben Crump has become the new, Jesse Jackson now. He take on every little civil rights case that goes on, man. But nonetheless, this is Wisdom of Solomon 5:1 says, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors." So this is the final judgment, man. When the Most High redeems the elect, the righteous, we're going to stand in great boldness, Lord willing, in the face of our oppressors, man, and those that afflicted us, the so-called white man and the rest of the heathen that made no account of our labors, man. We know. We talking about so-called Black History Month, man. Are people being memorialized and being acknowledged for all of the contributions that we brought to America? I'm talking about just the so-called black man alone. Just go look online, man. They've got all kind of 100 inventions that the black man made. I mean, we're talking everything from cell phones, blood transfusions, bicycle inner tubes, elevator shafts, steam engines. Benjamin Banneker did the blueprint and the architectural design for DC and the Pentagon, all that. I mean, come on, man. The stoplight, we know all of our inventions and some. There's a cat now. He didn't contribute to it here in America, but there's a cat, man, that made I don't know if he's Israel or not, but I know he's from West Africa, so it's possible he's Israel. But this cat, man, made a whole contraption, man, how you can use he powered TVs and all kind of stuff without electricity. And I think they said he's missing now. So go figure, right? Dropping down verse 4, it says, "We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor." This is how they look at us. Our life is madness. It ain't nothing but niggas and spics. They have no value when it comes down to moral or civil code here in America. They don't give a damn about our people. And they said, and our end to be without honor. So when you're hearing about the Devil's Punch Bowl and you're seeing these mass graves over here in behind these jails, it's because they throw away life like nothing, man. They don't give a damn. And people sit back saying, well, where's my relative? I heard he died. Can we get some answers? They're sitting back waiting up months for responses, and then they end up finding out that he died months before they even inquired about where he was at. This is the type of stuff that needs retribution, man. This is the type of stuff that needs payback. We don't need excuses, answers. Ben Crump, you can go and march on the state capitol of Mississippi and say we need justice, but we're not going to get true justice, man, until this man has been dethroned and Yahweh Shai has drenched his garment with their blood. That's just the bottom line. Continuing on, Washington State Democrats are using ammo, a quote privilege that needs to be taxed. As we know, here in California, they already made the ammo tax and the I believe the gun tax we got to pay double for ammo, paying double the tax for firearm purchases. So now we're seeing is getting ready to start spreading throughout the rest of the country because having ammo is a privilege. It's no longer a Second Amendment right for you to be able to protect your home, your household, man, or if you're homesteading and to live off the land, to go out and hunt and do what you need to do. They're going to try to crack in on all of this stuff, man. California, man, they tickled our butts with a feather. I think about a week or so ago, they had what they call a little Freedom Week, where all of a sudden, they overturned ammo purchases and uh, without background checks, and that lasted about a week, man. People was like, "Oh, great, I ain't got." For y'all don't know, over here, you got to do a background check before you can get approved to get your to purchase ammo. And even if you've done that, you got to have either the real ID that has the federal restrictions removed off of your because you got to either have the regular IDs got in the right hand corner says federal restrictions apply, or if you get the real ID, you can purchase your ammos or plane tickets and certain stuff like that that don't require additional identification. But if you don't have that real ID, you got to have your passport or your birth certificate every time you buy ammo here. And they got you in the database, man. They checking you out. Oh, you're already in the system. Okay, cool. You got your passport with you, guy? You got your passport with you, bro? You got your ID with you? Okay, we got you, brother. Go ahead. I remember last time I went, they was doing that. And I was like, what? Oh man, I'm cool. I'm gonna leave that alone. But we're seeing here now they're saying it's gonna be a privilege to have that, right? How in the hell dare he? Biden strikes a defiant tone about special counsel report. Now, this is if y'all don't know, there was a special report that came out, and they were talking about how slow Biden handled the classified documents. No surprise, no charges, no nothing. He's fine. Even though he had the box and the records sitting next to his Corvette and hanging out in the open and all the other stuff, they said he didn't violate no laws. It was fine, right? But this report that this guy Robert Hurt brought up on him said, man, this dude's an elderly guy, man, with some, medical issues, and uh, I don't think he's knows what's going on, and he shouldn't be in charge of having any of these particular documents and all that. And Slow Biden went crazy on him. President Slow Biden forcefully defended himself against charges that he suffers from memory loss, delivering remarks Thursday night in response to special counsel Robert Hur's report on his handling of classified information. Now, you know what's so ironic about this is he's talking about his memory is just fine. The whole world knows that ain't true. But that just shows you how much of a devil he is. He knows he done messed up on a number of occasions. Shortly after he said this, he had a couple of speeches, man, where he called the president of he mistook the president of Egypt with the president of Mexico, something like that, man. Then he messed up and was saying a speech and spoke and called another some government official, man, a person that had another called him somebody else, man, and the person he mistook him for had died like 6 years ago. But he says he's just fine. Yeah, I hate that I don't have the accurate. Hold on. Yeah, Biden mistakenly calls Egyptian leader the president of Mexico. How do you miss that up? That was 2 days ago, and they said that was just a small little gap. That was just a small little issue. Biden mistakenly refers to Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi as the president of Mexico. And he says there's nothing wrong with his memory. He can't remember what he ate for breakfast, but meanwhile, he's going to tell you he's just fine. It says Hur's report included characterizations of the president's mental state, saying that Biden's memory was significantly limited both during his recorded interviews with the ghostwriter in 2017 and in his interview with our office in 2023. The report also said that he had trouble remembering the time his son Bo's death. And he should back to how in the hell dare he raise that? Biden said he's also said his memory is just fine. I mean, who believes that? Yeah, I do remember he did talk about LL Cool J too, man. I mean, unbelievable, man. This dude's a complete egghead, and he says he's just fine. He's just fine, man. You know, trust and believe. He wants to be president again. They need this airhead to be in that office, man, so they can control and puppeteer him all the way to global dominance, man. But he said he's fine. Believe that if you want to. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, U.S. Bank, Citizens, TD, and KeyBank among those that filed to shut down 139 bank branches in January. But didn't they just say the jobs report is great? Everything's great. Oh, don't worry about it, man. We just had 300 some odd thousand jobs. 139 bank branches shutting down. Mass layoffs going on all over. We read last week. I covered all the companies that talking about they was laying off, and there's more. But they want us to believe everything's great, man. America is going down that tube. That spiral when you unplug the sink or the tub. Yeah, that's going on right now. Yeah, Corey. He didn't get his meds, man. You know, I remember Trump said he was on performance enhancing drugs, man. So maybe he's on the juice. They didn't give him his steroids. They didn't give him his HGH. You know, but something's going on, man. They didn't shoot him up. He need that vitamin B shot in his ass. Prep him up a little bit. You know, but yeah, the dude said he's fine. He's fine. But the banks ain't fine. Look at it, 139 about to shut down, man. So anybody's wondering if we're closing in on the downfall of America, if the scriptures say, man, money answereth all things, and we're seeing the financial institutions suffering, America's running out of answers, so to speak. All right. That's why they're going to push the panic button and really make a shift in how things are operating in the earth. And Esau is going to try a last ditch effort to try to maintain control. Young adults are having heart attacks more often. What's causing it? Speaking of this, man, Snoop Dogg's daughter just had a stroke and a heart attack some time ago. And I think they said she just, got out not too long ago, maybe a month or so ago, recovering and, doing her thing. But she's in her early 20s and she didn't have a heart attack, man. What's the circumstances behind that? I don't know. I'd be interested to find out. But heart disease is the number one cause of death in the United States. In the last few decades, though, with advances in the prevention and management of coronary artery disease, the occurrence of heart attacks in older adults has been declining. Alarmingly, the occurrence of heart attacks and other forms of heart disease among younger adults between 20 and 50 is increasing. The increase in cardiovascular problems in this group in 2020 and 2021 has so great that it contributed to declines in life expectancy. Um, I'm wondering if it had anything to do with, the last 3 years, 3.5 years of people getting stuff put in their arms, because there's no doubt a lot of them side effects that you see them soccer players and basketball players and people killing over and having heart issues and cardiac arrest and myocarditis and all kind of stuff happening. We didn't start seeing all these viral videos and all this other stuff. People in China falling out at the bus stations and all kind of stuff. We didn't see these type of viral videos going on before 2020. Did we? What changed? What got introduced into the health system that caused a lot of these issues? That's the question. I'm just wondering. I'm sure y'all are pretty smart, but that's on the rise too. Let's continue. Oh, look at it. More Americans will get cancer and die. Health groups slam the U.S. new air pollution cap is not strong enough. Um, I know brother had asked in New Moon class, Tahar asked about the chemtrails. When you got aluminum, barium salts, uh, and there's another ingredient in there that they're spraying in the air on the regular, and they're trying to make it sound like, oh, we're just trying to protect the environment, the sun rays, and we got to spray the slow down the UV rays. And no, all that stuff falls down to the ground. We're inhaling it. You notice when the chemtrails hit, people start getting sick. Chemtrails on the ground, getting into the feed of the livestock. They're eating it. Those chemicals get into the bodies of the animals, man, and then next thing you know, the steady diets that we're on uh, gets up, and let alone just the overall pollutions and everything else, the Wi-Fi, the radiation, the technology, the phones. I mean, it's all recipes for disaster. But they're saying just through the air alone, we're getting sprayed down with aerosols, man. That's going to get us cancer. I mean, I know people, uh, all of us, I'm sure, either know of, have somebody in our family currently has it, died from it. The whole nine, man. That's like one of the biggest killers out there right now. Health groups have warned that the government's new air pollution cap are not strong enough and will lead to more cancers and lung disease. On Wednesday, the EPA lowered the annual limit for levels of soot, a deadly type of airborne toxin, by around 25%. Despite lobbying by the American Lung Association, EPA did not revise the 24-hour limit, which health experts argue is just as important. So we see the EPA, man, not heeding to valid science and information, and they're saying, "Oh no, it's just fine." Well, I would probably ride with that because I'm not saying I would ride with it, but if I was them, I would ride with it because what? We know the ultimate goal is population control. They want to reduce the number of people so that they can, better manage the sheeple. You understand what I'm saying? So, no surprises there. They'll say, yeah, go ahead and eat that. Inhale this. It's just fine. Trust the science. Put this in your arm. You'll be fine. And next, all hell breaks loose, man. Death counts are rising, cancer rates skyrocketing, infertility rises up, man. It does the whole nine. So go figure. Go figure. Let's continue on. Eric Adams asked New York State for $4.6 billion to cover the cost of migrant crisis after promising $1,000 credit cards to be used in bodegas. This is unbelievable, man. So, good old Mayor Eric Adams, after he just got through talking about New York was going to go bankrupt because of the migrant crisis. Meanwhile, he was one of the proponents of running out, showing his teeth and tap dancing about come on over. Well, hey, people's coming over there. You promised them this, that, and the third, and now you're saying go home. We can't do nothing for you. We're at capacity. Hey, well, guess what? It's too late now. Now he's begging for 4.6 billion because he done promised him $1,000 debit cards. How many of y'all are getting $1,000 a month, man, to make sure that you can go eat? That's wild. I'm moving. I might emigrate to New York. Give me $1,000 credit card I can use in bodegas. I mean, they're saying they're telling them that they have to promise to use them in bodegas. Jake is gonna figure out a way to finagle some more stuff about it that $1,000. So New York State Governor Kathy Hochul, yeah, okay, pledged to commit 2.4 billion to the crisis last month, which is more than double last year's proposal. But Adams claims this still isn't enough. to cover the costs of caring for tens of thousands of people who continue pouring into the Big Apple sanctuary city it comes before he launched a $53 million program to give prepaid debit cards to migrants to spend on food and baby supplies and bodegas. Must be nice. But if the ultimate goal is to collapse everything so that they can quote unquote build back better, hey, why not? I mean, America's already what, damn near $34 trillion in debt. What's another 4.6 billion? They have no intentions on paying it back anyway. So I mean, hey, let the good times roll. But they getting ready to collapse New York. If that passes through, let alone, man, they're gonna be jacking the migrants for that money. You know how Jay gonna do, man. They gonna find out, man, oh, y'all got them $1,000 cards, man. Them wolves in New York, man, is gonna be jacking cash for them cards, reselling them out on the streets, buying up what they want with them. You know, they gonna have all hell break loose out there. So we'll see. EPA report finds more than 70 million Americans are living at home with tap water that is laced with hormone warping forever chemicals. Is your area affected? When I did the class a few years ago about the Scrabble game, and I said they've got chemicals in the water, they've got BPA in the plastics that can alter your hormones. People was thinking I'm tripping, or other people who knew about this knowledge, they're tripping. There's no way that they've got chemicals that can alter your hormones, that can make a man feel more feminine, a woman feel more masculine. Oh, the soy, it's not that bad. Really? And now they're acknowledging that it's in 70 million people's water. And you may say, hey, guess what? That's okay. I drink bottled water. All right, well, are you brushing your teeth with that bottled water? Are you in the showers with that bottled water? I mean, talk about it. Are you washing your dishes with that same bottled water? I mean, this got everything covered, man. He knows what he's doing. So the water's been tampered with. We already know that, man. And that's just the hormones. So they've got infertility drugs in the water. They've got the metals. They've got uh, 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 chlorine. I mean, they got all kind of madness in the tap water, man. So just us being like, I don't drink tap water anyway, that might not be enough. It may be a slower kill, slower process, but we use tap water regardless, right? I didn't mark the map, but if y'all interested in one, I mean, you see the map here, but the list of states. This map right here has a grid, a color grid regarding the dangers in what particular area. If you can see here, the East Coast sliding over to the Midwest is most heavily affected as it filters out back west, right? But they got a concentrated effort, man, on destroying people. Just believe that. All right. Wild stuff, man. Wild stuff. That's why I said, man, the Super Bowl ain't the only news that's going on. You dig what I'm saying? So make sure that y'all stay locked in, man. Stay locked in. Hey, shalom to brother Carlos in the house. Diz the Wiz, my sister, you in the house. Shire, shalom, Mike. What's going on, bro? Who I miss? Anybody else I miss? Rosemary, shalom to you, sis. All the way out there in London. Yeah, don't worry about it. I didn't. Nobody knew. I just kind of did a little impromptu today because I didn't do a DSTM over the weekend. I mean over the Shabbat. So I just kind of jumped in, man, trying to get some food for thought for people to think about and keep on the mind and stay in the spirit. Even though we know it's a different spirit that's being promoted and floating around the earth today, as we just got to seeing that the government, State Department, is heavily involved in even promoting this game today, which is very interesting, in my opinion. But nonetheless, as long as you made it, it's all good. So I'm gonna get on out of here, man. Y'all be well, Lord willing. I'll see you on the next go round. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. While you're outside, man, always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger. Shalom.